Alright everybody, what's up? 6:09 p.m. East Coast, a bit chilly. I know it's not even close to as cold as it is in the rest of the country. But look at this killer view. It just kind of took me by surprise because it was cloudy as heck. And then it cleared up and I was on the phone. I'm like, nah, off the phone, getting to the moon and the planets. The camera's not even tilted and we got Saturn and Jupes in the same frame. Look at that, unbelievable. It just got so beautiful out. And also we got the crescent moon tonight, and I realize it's been so long since I've seen the moon in the scope. I mean, let's see, what is the moon tonight? Moon is at 27 degrees and 13.2% illuminated, but of course got some blue skies behind it. Sun is about setting, and we saw the whole darkened portion, the dark side, when I opened the shutter all the way. So now you can even see some of that really beautiful azure coming through behind Saturn at the top, Jupiter at the bottom. Jupiter's got 3 visible moons. Let's see, 3, yeah. I'm pulling up Stellarium here to just double check everything. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and remember to hit the 4K button. Okay, 4K. So Saturn, currently at 21.5 degrees. Jupiter at 21.29 degrees. So getting really close, and just, what is it, 4 days away. What are the moons around Jupiter? All the way to the left, Callisto, and then Ganymede and Europa. See, Io now probably occulted by Jupiter. No red storm, at least not as I can tell. So it's going to be me racing a little bit tonight so we can see both the moon and the conjunction of planets. I know that the window is small, so it's going to be like an hour worth, but incredible times that we live in. Hopping in the chat right here to say what's up. Debbie Carson, what's happening? You're first. MM, what's happening? Rune Thorson, thumbnail such a tease. I try. I mean, I honestly like wish we could see it that close, but yeah, maybe someday with 8K and a 20-inch scope, I'll be able to show y'all this like with that kind of detail up close. If that's what you're talking about, maybe I'm wrong. Marky Rowe, what's happening? Awesome Army, hello from Canada, what's going on? Ryan and NC, what's happening? A new perspective, yep. I made the music. That's how I get over copyright stuff, even though they'll copyright strike me on my own songs sometimes. Like, no lie. There's this track that I have from back in the day. I'm not even going to say the name of it, but it's one of those electronic tracks, and it's got a sample in it from the Logic library. And because probably somebody else wrote a song with the same sample, it picks up like a copyright strike, and it says this song is actually is written by somebody else, like which is completely not true. So it's insane how that happens. What's happening, Patrick McNellis? Evening. And Genghis Khan, what's happening? Warm evening. It is warm, I guess, comparatively. Yo, JB Stylin. Great shots. I'm looking forward to the Grand Conjunction. We're really close to it right now. It's like a few days away, but this is the first time I've been able to capture Saturn and Jupiter in the same frame without tilting the camera to portrait at all. So amazing. Few fractions of a degree apart at this point. All right, let's play some tunes. Get in the groove here. I don't even have a drink or anything, but I'm gonna leave the. I think it's dimming a touch. Yeah, there are definitely a few clouds still hanging out. But I'm going to leave it on this shot for a moment because this will set way before the moon. I'm going to play us a little song here called Sleepless Rider.
Rider, oh,
What's up, everybody? Just hopping back in here. Yeah, I'm going to try and put the track name up at the top right corner. Looks like it's a little tight, but that was Keep You Waiting. Hopping in the chat to say what's up to everybody. I missed what's happening. Let's see. Let me just go back to the top. I see New Perspective, Ryan, okay. JB Stylin. I see Rainbows and Butterflies, what's happening. And Tramail Dennis. Tramail Dennis, that's an interesting name, cool name. Let's see, loving your clear eve on my snowy one here. I know the weather's been insane. I can't believe it's even this clear. It just like cleared up all of a sudden. What's happening, Rastaman? What's happening, Kimmy? Nice to see you. What's up, Kat with a K? What's happening? Yep. Jen, I said what's up. And alright. So we got some crazy beautiful moon right here. And little bits of the moon showing at the bottom left corner, like the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock position. That's just gorgeous. And I'm recording all of this with Sony a6 V on the Nexstar 8-inch, and I'm using like an extender tube as well as the focal reducer, so it's really pulled back. It's almost like a 6-inch, 7-inch telescope view. Gonna go back to Jupiter and Saturn momentarily, but just capturing this, and you can still see even a tiny bit of blue sky still happening. 6:20 p.m. Fun, energetic show tonight. I'm gonna put Bring Me Back and then Dreamfields. Damn, that is true. That is not true about my channel, but it's true that this banner... Fuck. Sorry to curse, but what the F is going on with this stupid banner? So yeah, if anyone's not noticing that there's this flat earth Wikipedia embed under my video, that's really weird and obnoxious on YouTube's part, because what, I've said flat earth in these videos before, I've addressed people. I don't know. You know what? Let me just see, edit video. See if any of the things got hacked or retabbed. I'm just doing this live, guys. Alright. I don't care. I'm gonna stay on the shot of Saturn and Jupiter and not get completely derailed here, but yeah, that's really unfortunate. So it's clear that they're trying to make it as difficult as possible for me to stream, and that's fine. So, you know what? That's fine too. Yeah, this is probably the most upset I've actually been when I've streamed live, but visibly upset. But I don't know, you know, I'm gonna let it go because who cares? People think this is a flat earth channel, tough shit. Tough shit. People who know, and people who don't know shouldn't watch the channel. So sorry for cursing, that's kind of just annoying, and I did not expect that to happen for just no reason, but I guess let's just get through that. Anyway, hopping in here. That was just weird. Gosh. What's happening, Mass Bishop and Buried Axeblade and Sapir Odd? And Buddy, what's happening? Central Florida, near Tampa. What's up, TJ? Can't escape the algorithms. Yeah, the banner, Genghis is saying the banner is on channels or videos that are fringe topics. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So that's like an very fascinating way that propaganda is used to derail in such a subtle way. Like crept up on me. I didn't expect it, I guess, but I should have. That's fine. That's how it goes. What's up, Howie Dunn? TJ, you're saying what's going on? There's just like a Wikipedia banner that's auto-generated underneath this video that is that's basically referencing flat Earth as like a legitimate topic, and it's just not, in my view, true. This channel is not a flat Earth channel, and I really wish they would take that banner down. But that's not going to happen probably, because I talk about flat Earth in terms of the way people and culture have adopted this concept and how it derails from larger, better questions. And no insult to anybody who believes that the Earth is flat. So yeah, I guess that's not cool to respect people. Whatever. Yeah, I know, there's always just like one or two thumbs down or bots, or like, you guys see all the crazy bots that show up in the comments, those weird kind of like X-rated things that, like, it's so strange how YouTube allows that stuff. Anyway, shit talking the corporate masters on their own platform is like, it's like stuff I've done before, but it's always just really funny. Like, this platform is free. You get to do all this crazy stuff on it. Of course it's gonna act the way it wants, and I shouldn't expect anything else. So anyway, if y'all are gracious enough to tell people that it's not a flat Earth channel, that would be very helpful. But if that's what's going to happen, then yeah, Z-Proxy definitely took it as an insult. Alright. So anyway, once in a lifetime planetary conjunction, flat Earth or not, We got Saturn at the top and Jupiter at the bottom, and we're tracking it. It's getting much closer. The camera's not rotated at all, so it's like straight in frame. And plus we've got the light of the moon above it, this beautiful waxing crescent, and I realized, like, it's been so long, I really missed filming the moon. Yeah. So, man, that was a diversion. But really, goodness. Let's continue with some tunes here.
17, couldn't tell you I was living a dream. What could I do? For a while I played the field. How could I prove the hidden yield without the blues to feel? My heart was cruel and left no residue. Catch me if you fall, catch me when you're low. The loot goes higher, as friends you used to know. Catch you when you fall, catch you when you're low. I love you, take a good look, it's a simulation. Wake up, it's solitary. Wake up, it's imaginary. And don't you know, your life is worth more than what you have, take a good look, it's a simulation. Wake up, it's solitary. Wake up, it's imaginary. Man, don't you know, your life is worth more than Catch me if you fall, catch me if you're low. The loot goes higher up, as fast as you can go. Oh, catch me if you fall, catch me when you're low.
Alright everybody, what's happening? Hopping back in here. Feeling better. I was a little derailed earlier with that stupid banner, but now I'm fine, whatever. Hope everybody's feeling great. I see a bunch of people just joined. Let me see if I can say hi to all of y'all. See a Rum Vorax and Howie Dunn, right? I said hi. I see Z Proxy and alright. Who we got? I see Super Must See. What's going on? And Shockwave, how you doing? They're coming into conjunction soon. This is great. Yes, it's like I can't. Every night that I get a chance to do this is just like still peak excitement for me, no doubt. Mind over monkey, what's happening? When I look at Jupiter here, I'm reminded of the Chinese national flag, big star and 4 little ones. Huh. Yeah, it's interesting. Let me bookmark that. I haven't thought of it like that before. Yeah, alright. So, right now actually you can't see Io. It's only Ganymede at the top left, and then Europa and Callisto, I believe. Or maybe I'm messing that up. Let me just double check. Top left is Callisto, and then Ganymede, Europa at the bottom. Io is, I think, occulted by Jupiter right now. And then at the top, the most bright spot next to Saturn is Titan, which is incredible that we get to see the moon of Titan. Others are just named stars, and then right around Saturn, if we zoomed in, we'd see Enceladus, Tethys, Dione, Rhea, and Iapetus, along with a bunch of other little specks, but not visible tonight. Alright, I saw, Kimmy, you had a question about the edges of the moon, I think. Let me see. Can I explain why the edge of the shadow is so rugged? I've never seen that before, and you're talking about the moon. So what I'm thinking is we got about 10-15 more minutes with Jupiter and Saturn, so I think stay on this shot for a bit, and then once this is behind the tree line, or Jupiter gets occulted by the tree, then go up back to the moon. Let me know if you're interested in me going to the moon or staying on this shot, but I feel like more imaging of this is right, because this is the more rare event. As beautiful as the moon looks. So anyway, half cold, half hot, because you get warm during the show, but it's actually chilly, and just feeling fine watching our beautiful planets tonight. Oh, Vicky, what's happening? Good evening. Kat says, can you explain the jagged edge on the shadow of the moonshot? Yeah, so we'll look at that in a little bit. Iapetus, you said it perfect. Good, I've been practicing. Alright, let's go back to some tunes here. We'll do something different. I always say that, and then I play the same thing. No, this time for reals, though. For reals, something different. Let's do some rock tonight. We'll do... Yeah, let's jam. It's still early. Okay. I'll bring this in slowly. It's called Friends Travel Round. And then Girl I Knew. And yeah, then I'll get back on.
Are you out there waiting? Split your coming summertime. The bastards love your dating. You stole your Byzantine of life. The time is given to you. Your way of fashion stuff. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she's got something riding up her sleeve. And I can't breathe. Though Saturday, it's a Saturday. Monday, Tuesday, drift away. She rays the sunshine to the view. It's just a line into the blue. There was this girl I knew. She was the one with the attitude. I walk we round like hand in glove, like cats on the summer moon. Yeah, there was this girl I knew. She was the one with the attitude. We went like hand in glove, like pouring salt into my wounds. She's got a lucky man that stays home every time she comes over. What do I love her? No, no, do I wanna touch her? Do I love her? No, no, I just wanna watch her. There was this girl I never knew. She was the one with the attitude. We go like head and up, like pouring salt into my wound.
Oh yeah, that was Girl I Knew. And now let's draw some Birkeland coaxial filaments, or what NASA calls magnetic ropes, but or electric autobahns. I see what you guys are talking about, and let's use our matrix glasses to see the hidden threads of our electric universe. If I could just find my paint program here. Just 1 second, y'all. All right, close this, hide that, open this, boom. Let's telestrate. We got Saturn, we got Jupes. Okay, let's try this again. So, right, Saturn has an orbital inertial dielectric plane. It's got its toroidal magnetic field lines. It's got its hypotrochoid. It's got its Birkeland filaments, hopefully coming through. Spiraling Birkeland filaments. What is it? What happens? You get all these vortexes that are counter-rotating electrical currents. This is Donald Scott's thinking. And then you got this hourglass, you got the apple shape or the toroidal shape. This is from all sorts of different places. I saw it in Thrive, and when I was still into ufology, saw this shape all the time with chakras and everything, and it looks like an apple core, etc. But really, this is the conjugate geometry of reality of all levels, all scalar dimensions. Is this torus and this hourglass shape. And at the center, you've got a pinch. These are what stars are, or planets. You've got a dielectric inertial plane, and you've got ropes, or you've got coaxial Birkeland filaments akin to like the fibers in our spine that are connected to the larger, greater structure of our universe. That's how I see it, right? And these shells of plasma are memory of Saturn. It's the entire identity of Saturn is imprinted holographically, if you want to imagine that just not in terms of projection, but three-dimensional holographic cymatic patterns, right? Memory. And Saturn pings its shells to remember what it looks like, just like Jupiter does, just like humans do, just like every particle does. So that's one shape. And then what's happening is, Saturn and Jupiter have their filamentary action. So let's draw that on top of Jupiter. Wait, am I totally off screen? Oh, there we are. Okay. So Jupiter is the same sort of structure. The camera is rotated, dielectric inertial plane. This is where planets are formed. All the rest is counter space. You got the toroidal shape. You've got the hypotrochoid. You got the coaxial Birkeland filaments. Now, at the same time as these are happening from a side view, or a three-dimensional side view, it's also creating several things. It's creating spirals, which are compressions, and then rarefactions of the wave, and that's where the Fibonacci spirals occur. Up and down, and then through the poles, but then also towards us as we're seeing things from Earth. So eyeball is seeing things on this kind of rarefaction, compression of plasma layers. We ping the layers. That's why things come into focus where they are right now, 13 miles above Earth. There's a layer of plasma that actually is where the sympathetic resonance of what we perceive as the speed of traveling light resonates and creates a harmonic frequency, cymatic fractal that we can perceive when we come into focus with it. We resolve it. This is really how the matrix glasses can reveal so much if you just understand this one geometric shape, or these two geometric shapes that create all the others. And then when you take it all away, it's so funny because we look at these planets, we're like, look at Jupiter, this gas giant and its moons, and holy cow, and so big and so far away. And you don't tend to take in this more abstract notion that everything around these planets is what's pressing them into place, informing them, and holding them in orbit, and also causing them to spin and have their own spin. So the rest of all the space around it, this cold, unknown dark matter, is really the page to the word. And if I'm allowed to really paraphrase Alan Watts, but once I heard him say that, when you realize that, like, when you open a book and you start reading the words, you jump immediately to meaning. You never really consider the actual page that the words are printed upon. And it's the same with space. When you look at space, all the blackness, the void of space is so mysterious and unknown. But really it's known by its conjugate, which is the stuff we see. So it's this idea of counter space or negative space is fully known to us and necessary versus unknown and unknowable and mysterious. Let me know if you have any thoughts on that, and take a little walk around and keep stretching, because really important when you do this, when you do backyard astronomy, you can get hunched over. So almost 7 o'clock on the East Coast, edge of space. Now we're seeing Jupiter disappear behind the tree and Saturn get really blurry. So I think we've gotten a bit of the planets. Let's head over to the moon and enjoy the rest of this ride.
Oh, the midnight moon may be right up with the midnight moon. May be right up at the midnight moon. Goes right up as the midnight moon. May be right.
Alright, y'all, before I get back into these jams, let's talk a bit about the moon, because it's also setting rather quickly tonight. So look at this, it's unbelievable. We get to see this whole darkened portion, the earth shine, or the dark side of the moon, not to be confused with the far side of the moon. And then you can see the actually illuminated portion of the moon that is synergistically resonating with the sun's solar energy, solar frequency, is glowing like crazy tonight. What's interesting is this kind of jagged edge reaching in or reaching out, depending on how you look at it, kind of right at the terminator line, right in the middle, as I assume what y'all are talking about. And it seems to me, without like changing focus, that it's basically where Mare Crisium is, which is that, and Proclus, you know, that particular astrid between Tranquility and Mare Crisium. What you can see is Mare Crisium, Mare Serenitatis, Mare Imbrium at the top, and then because Oceanus Procellarum is this whole darkened portion at the top, is actually inverted tonight. Aristarchus is at the noon position. If you follow that to the left, you'll see Kepler, Copernicus, you'll see Humorum, and then all the way at the left where you see those little blots of white that are floating by themselves, if you follow that up a little bit, that's Tycho Crater and Clavius. So really interesting features tonight, as well as some stars around the moon. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. I see a lot of comments and a lot of thoughts, so let me see if I can catch everybody. First, say hi to Cognition Design, what's happening, and I see somebody else joined. Who else? Mr. Rojogo Bin and Roach Steve and Mr. Miner, and I think that's it. And Hans Koenig, what's happening? Buddy Doggerty says, great explanations just now. It's good to add in mimicry of the cell mitosis and meiosis at the same dual torus structure as well. Love the mention of Don Scott. Yeah, I mean, when I talk about these shapes, really, Don Scott's idea of the counter-rotating currents is really one of the few explanations I've heard that explains all the polar effects that we see. So the northern lights, the hexagon Saturn, the vortices and the lightning storms at the top of Jupiter can only be caused by the friction and the flow of these basically negative space fractals through each other in a, creating those high energetic peaks, and they move along these incredible spirals depending on where the center point is. So for me, there are also other thoughts around the hollow moon or the hollow earth. So for example, like hollow earth goes into this whole other realm, of Agartha. There are other ideas where this concave earth, right? We're seeing earth kind of rise up around us, and you'd be okay to think that, because like sometimes photography can really trick you, actually, perspective, and really this idea of focal distance and focal range and perspective even, right, was very confusing to me. And I think the final straw really which sealed it from really thinking about hollow earth in terms of us being inside of earth right now as opposed to the outside of earth. It makes more sense that we're on the outside because, well, I'm not going to go into heliocentric round earth stuff. It's funny how being somehow magnetically dragged into that conversation, but I'm not going to talk about that. More so the structure of the geometry. So I'm going to sketch a little bit here since I have an opportunity. What's happening, Charlie Silverman? I see you now, if I missed you. Okay. Let me turn on this paint program. And first reset all the Birkeland filaments that I was drawing. New file. Change that to yellow. Like that, and put this. Okay, so saying down over here, is that not showing up? There we go. So Tycho crater, it's dim, there's some clouds, but that's Tycho. And then you got Clavius down here, and you got these couple of nodules hanging out by themselves. This right here, Proclus and Chrysium, I believe. And you got Tranquility. This is your Taurus, Hypotrochoid. It's so funny, the Terminator's cutting right through this. And then you have Sea of Serenity right here. And you got Posidonius. Then you've got a much larger kind of hexagonal shape of Mare Imbrium. Nested hexagon Sinus Iridum, half a hexagon. Yep. Plato, which is an elongated hexagon. Right here at the top. I should draw this a bit better. One day I'll get full screen telestration. Anyway, right above that, that's that's Copernicus and Aristarchus up at the top. So what else is going on? Okay, so we got, those are some landmarks, or moon marks. Yeah, what's happening? Wolfie 777, hello from Florida. I'm glad you're doing warm tonight, because, man, it looks rough in the north. Shoutouts to everybody, and warm vibes from mostly warm Florida. Can you show the spots where the Earth shine with respect to the sunshine? Not sure what you mean, but basically, like, the sun is here, and Earth is basically getting in the way over here. So we're getting only this portion illuminated. And then because Earth is so bright, it's still illuminating the moon like the sun is, but to so much less of a degree. It looks so drastic because it almost looks like an object on top of another object. But once you see it up close and you really understand what's happening, it's really just a trompe d'oeil. I don't even know how to translate that. That's a trick of the eye. A trick of the eye. Sorry. Of course I know how to translate that. So, got the Terminator. Also, such a weird name for it. Of course, it terminates, but it makes, with the association of cultural movies, just everybody thinks that when you say Terminator. this is very interesting, this whole Mare Crisium peeking into the Terminator, the Earthshine portion, because you can really see how angled it is and how moon craters are not circular but hexagonal. And that's the hill I think I'm going to die on. Pretty sure that's the hill. If somebody's like, what hill? That hill. That's the hill. Moon craters are not circular, damn it. Clearly not. You got diamonds, you got hexagons. All of them are like side by side. And why are they side by side? Because, let's see why they're side by side. Because what Buddy was talking about too with cells. But really what happens is at the very, very smallest, this is as far as I've put it together from various people, right? So let's say Eileen McCusick, Don Scott, Alan Watts, Ken Wheeler, Maxwell, Tesla, all the obvious ones. And I think really Eileen McCusick and Rupert Sheldrake mostly started talking about this idea of consciousness outside the human body, memory outside the human body. And then if you take cymatics and you take the morphic resonance field from Sheldrake, you realize, okay, matter imprints in these complex three-dimensional holographic fractals. And then you say, okay, like how does quantum mechanics see things? You add relativity and quantum mechanics. You don't completely just retire those theories, because a lot of it is correct, but it's really the interpretation mostly. This constant reinforcement of you can never understand things versus things are completely understandable. So why does this occur? So tiny quantum particles or giant planets or solar systems start circular and they expand into the ether around it, because we're all within this soup or this potential fish tank of energy called the ether, what we call air, what we call all matter, basically potential to form. And then we have resonant vibration, or the word of God, or the original sound, or frequency vibration if you want to, or waves, or any type of concept of movement through this ether creates what we see as matter. However, the interpretation of how that happens and what that really implies is what is discarded mostly in popular science, which is like, why do things occur the way they do? You ask that and you get an answer that you're crazy or you're an idiot. And then it's already solved. The other one is that really crazy things exist that no one asks questions about. For example, what I'm showing here, which is the fact that moon craters and moon mare are hexagonal, pentagonal, diamond shaped, and there's a really logical reason for that. So anyway, if you ever do pour over coffee, you'll see that the bubbles start forming and then they'll meet a boundary layer. And what happens at a boundary layer, the bubble basically creates like a more defined edge. Sorry, I'm racing to talk about this, but this is what I'm talking about. This is how hexagons and primitive or platonic geometries, 2D or 3D, are formed on Earth. So basalt flats, honeycombs, sugar molecules, cell mitosis, butterflies, the bridge of a nose. Where do eyeballs occur? On the dielectric inertial plane, right? Then a smaller version of the eyeballs, like two circles, basically occur at the nostrils. Why? Because we are pinched, we are impinged upon, rarefaction compression. That's how. Then we have another one with the mouth, and the mouth itself almost looks like the bottom of Sea of Tranquility, right? I was just drawing that right here. It's almost, I think it's exactly the same reason. I don't think it's actually just coincidence. This is why all creatures look the same, because we have a coaxial Birkeland filament going through this entire thread. At the very center of each of these is a tiny or very pinched, very condensed point that actually interacts with its fields, and each field is a measurement of memory and time, which allows this unit to be self-aware. Once it's aware of these layers, it creates a new layer which is additive between the center and that layer. and it stretches down. So our mouth has a brain, which we speak from, the tongue. If you basically break down facial geometry, you'll see that it actually completely adheres to this shape. All throughout nature, all of it adheres to this shape. I could show all the pictures of things, but it would be fun to just look at the moon. But this is really the principle. So these craters were either like zapped through electrical interaction between planetary bodies, or the moon was boiling over and these giant things were formed by giant boils meeting and merging and creating boundary layers. Sorry, took me a second to get that out. But you'll see, so boundary layer, and this whole thing, actually, what's so interesting, it looks like a brain and the spinal column, or the medulla and the frontal cortex. Let's see if I can erase all this. Why does the brain look like that, and why does Antarctica look like that? Because the brain and Antarctica and all the mares are based on the exact same geometry. There can be no other answer ultimately, because you can say, well, we'll never know. Okay, that's not really fair, right? Because some people want to know. Like, I want to know, like, why when I look at the moon you see all these what is periodolia? What is focal distance? What is resolving? What is focus? You know, what is distance in space? All these things are answerable, actually. They're not really unanswerable. But there's a certain type of energy out there that says, well, no, we can never know. Or you're too dumb to know, it's already been solved. And you say, wait, has it really? So, what was I going to show? Yeah, just a little bit of the brain. Tell me if you see this as well, but right, a little bit like that. I mean, not such, but it even has that same sort of structure, right? There's the lobe. What else can we talk about? Let's see what people are going on about in the chat. All right, cool. So let's jam on some tunes here, and we'll record some more of this moonage.
Wide open, staring at a trillion bright lights. Where the hell are you? Oh, my heart is wide open, wide open, wide open. Traveling to a million far sights. Don't try.
Yeah. That was really out of tune. Little Boy Blue Diamondback, Rattlesnake Phillips on the mic. So just chilling here with y'all, kicking into this meditative groove, I guess. It just randomly came on, but I realized I haven't played it in so long. Dance floor is now open. Just hopping in to say what's up to Jedi Princess and anybody else joining or lurking. It's really been an awesome show tonight. I got to really concisely explain this concept, but let me know if you have any thoughts on it. I know it's a lot of information. But really, optics, how things work, what this really looks like, what do you imagine is around the moon that we don't see? And for me now, there's like a very wonderful, beautiful geometry that exists just around everything that I see, and it actually elevates it. It doesn't ruin the surprise. So, Lou Diamond Phillips' cousin, exactly. Jet Blue Diamondback, Rattlesnake, Nuts, Phillips head screwdriver. Bega. I think that's it. That's the extent of it. Yo, what up, FE dude? How's it going? And Hans Koning, just looking at some questions here. Hans says there are earthquakes on the moon, right? Yep, moonquakes, earthquakes. Not anything that I've seen on the telescope, of course, but apparently there are seismic recordings of the moon having moonquakes. It depends on what you believe in, of course. Whoa, what is faction compression? So, rarefaction, R-A-R-E, faction, and compression are essentially just like, if you imagine that the human body is grown along a filament, along a root system. So our heads are wide, and then our necks are skinny, and our shoulders are wide, and our waists are skinny, and the hips are wide, right? And on and on. This is the rarefaction and compression of sound waves, of the structure of the all organizations, the symmetrical displacement of plasma creates what we see as wave fronts, but it depends on really what zoom level you're talking about, right? If you're on the wave, like we're on a life cycle wave, we don't see that wave front. But I'm looking at my stream analytics, and you see the line on a XY chart graph, right? And you can visualize a much larger span of information using a line chart. And then we use numbers to even augment that. But when people think about their own life or life cycle of humanity or Earth or planets, they don't imagine it along a rarefaction and compression of a wavefront. But if you do, then you can understand orbits, orbital mechanics, history of planets, movement of planets, expansion and contraction of the universe, and other things that can be derived from that basic fundamental understanding. What is my thought on sacred geometry? So the overarching thought, and this is something I've thought about a lot, there are a lot of concepts that we have in culture that have very grand and romantic and seductive names or phrases attached to them. Flat Earth is one of them that has it in spades, right? But like the Mandela effect, or hollow earth theory, or even honestly any like fringe theory is really fringe because it triggers a certain type of reaction in people that is akin to like to social media, a kick of dopamine, watching something that you like, getting a compliment, etc. So it makes it very difficult to figure out like what is correct versus what is appealing. And I think the whole idea of sacred geometry is just because the word sacred is weighted with so many years of history, interpretations, cultural agreements, that we apply this idea that it's somehow different than something else, right? It's sacred versus not sacred. But in fact, fundamental geometry, that's why I use the word fundamental or conjugate or inherent, takes it back to nature, where you say, okay, this geometry is actually perfectly natural, and hexagons do exist in nature. It's not some strange thing, right? So I think while it's fine, right, it's a beautiful thing to say sacred geometry, right? And I don't say it in any way to put anyone down, because for years I used to use that same exact phrase, like sacred geometry, really into that sort of thing. But you really consider it, it's actually fundamental geometry. It can be sacred, but it could also be completely ignored, and things would still work. So that aside, sacred geometry that I feel is sacred is these matrix glasses that I draw on top of the moon and the planets, which are the hexagons, diamonds, overlapping pentagons, dodecas, etc. And I do them 2D on top of these 3D objects, right? But if you look at the moon, you'll see that it not only is like small craters have the same structure, but the large mare, which is really kind of what got me going, was like, oh, are some craters hexagonal? Are some side by side creating this geometry? No, absolutely all of them abide by this logic. If you took the time, you could theoretically, one could draw that conjugate geometry shape, the donut and the hourglass, on top of every single crater on the moon. And I think it would work. It would be superimposed and make sense logically as to how it fits, where it is, what's around it, why it looks that way. I mean, that's a pretty big bet, but I would take that bet. And I think that soon there will be AI systems that are fast enough to do that mapping. I mean, I do it right now just manually for y'all, but like every single crater on the moon is likely an elongated hexagon, pentagon, dodeca, or diamond. The reason it's like that is because geometry, geology, human culture, human life, time, all of it abides by the same structural fundamental geometry. It's bold, it's big, it's unified, and it like makes real sense visually, as opposed to the Big Bang or as opposed to any of these other concepts. Now, I've changed a little bit recently about the Big Bang and relativity and all these ideas, because I think they all do have a role to play in it, right? So let's say we do have this electric universe, which I believe in, you don't have to believe in it. But if that's the case, then an event like the Big Bang could definitely occur, right? We see it now in space, where nebulas form, the Cat's Eye Nebula, the Square Nebula, all sorts, the trapezium, even M42, right? This could be a Big Bang interpreted event. What's wrong about Big Bang cosmology, I think, is the way it's lorded over things as if without this event, things could never have occurred, which is, I think, not true. I think that which is interesting, because also quantum mechanics says, M theory and Ed Witten, they talk about multiverses, multiple Big Bangs. So people have talked about it. It's not like I'm coming up with this, but once you have multiple Big Bangs, it just means that things are fully interactive, and discharges in electrical discharges in plasma happen constantly, and these are creation type events. And they are also destruction type events. It completely answers relativistic and Big Bang cosmology as well as quantum mechanics in one swoop. Mary Quite says, heard mentioned the Great Conjunction heralds in a new age. What are your thoughts on this? Hi, Mary, first of all. And second, I think the age is right now, if you want it to be, right? What time in human history have we ever been able to sit and view the moon like this? For me, even an event like this, I mean, it's a spectacular event, right? But just an event like this that people kind of now shrug off to just, something people do. We, get on a telescope and look at the moon. This is profound, right? This could be as profound as any experience you've ever had, if you choose for that to be the case, right? This is the power of free will. Can you escape the geometry? I don't think so. But within the geometry, right, this organized structure has choices. And the choice to to view this great conjunction as, you know, a catastrophe event or a ritualistic event, or to look at it as, you know, any old day of the week, or like the way I'm looking at it, very exciting and rare, you know, celestial astronomy event, coupled with the fact that I get to have the time and the space to do it, that I can share it with people too, is like pretty rare. So when I do these shows, I've said it before, it is this profound effect. It's constantly above all other conspiracies, politics, money, transcends fully those experiences, because there's nothing more profound than fully grasping our location, our interaction, and our geometric placement within space and with our moon and planets. So I think it's like it's a ritual for us every time we do this, right? So is it a dawning of a new age, you know, age of Aquarius, and we're moving out of the age of, I want to say, Pisces, right? And is it the dawning of the 12,000-year epoch? Maybe. It could be, you know, but even that, if you took it from the rarefaction and compression of the wavefront, the same way we see, the same way sound happens, the same way my analytics dashboard shows up, then it happens and then it doesn't happen. And it happens and it doesn't happen. Sound out of silence. Light from darkness, right? Fully relativistic, right? Necessitating one another. Not destroying one another, but in harmony by destruction. So, you know, you talk about like how 2020 is happening to people, or viruses are happening to people, but it's really not, you know, or you know, these are things that are the price for living, right? Do we choose to live do you choose to walk into a shop and just steal? You know, some people do, but this expectation that somehow life and all its pleasures doesn't come at a price of pain doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't mean you shouldn't feel pain. It just means that this idea that we can somehow escape being eaten I don't know if that's true. I think you just have a certain amount of time before you're eaten until we're completely devoured. And if we happen to have been born once, then it can happen again along the same logic. Copper Tropicals, what's happening? Nice to see you. All right, let me take a little stretch. Good to see everybody in the chat. 7:32, watching our beautiful crescent moon. And I'm going to play us... Did I play Willpowered already? Let me know in the chat. I'll play something different. I play that every time now. Let's do some Dream Fields.
So high, sleep.
Alright, that was a little Prism Dagger. I linked y'all to a slightly older cut of that. Actually, I have a newer cut, and this was the older cut, but I linked you to this one that we just heard. But I do have a more advanced one that will come out soon on the next release that I'm really trying to work on. I've been saying it for years. Alright, I'm going to wrap the show up here. It's been really fun tonight. We got the crescent moon setting behind the tree line here for me. It's really pretty still. So we got a few more minutes. I'm going to play a couple more tunes and sit with y'all. Let me know if you have any more questions about what I talked about or anything else. 7:42 on the East Coast. Edge of space. As always, thanks to the oldies, the newbies, and lurkers, and I appreciate whoever thumbs down one of my videos and then removed the thumbs up. That's really sweet, actually. So. And no thanks to the FE banner underneath my video, but I do appreciate everybody's presence here tonight, FE or not. And yeah. Let me know if you have any requests for the final song. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, so I don't monetize this channel. I mean, it's monetized, but I don't run ads. I don't ask for money or anything like that. But I do appreciate comments. I do appreciate thoughts and like comments about the music as well. And people downloading and listening to the music is really, really great. So appreciate everybody who's already done that, and also people who might be clicking on the links tonight. If you look at the description of the video, there are not only links to the music, but also links to really great Electric Universe channels. Some of which posts, some of which are kind of archives, but if you are interested at all in looking at electric arc discharge, creating features, geological features, of course check out Thunderbolts Project and Andrew Hall's videos. But even more, you can check out Billy Yelverton, who I linked to, and he actually, and I gotta say Ben from SO, way back in 2010, 2011, we're messing around with electric arc discharge in a lab, in a really great laboratory and creating all the patterns and formations that we see on Earth, on the Moon, on Mars, the stratification, the kind of pinched layers, the craters, flat-topped mountains, all sorts of formations just by zapping clay and earth with high voltage, like 70,000 volts, and seeing what happens. So if you're really interested in that, check out the links in my description, check out the music, and let's play some tunes here. I like this one. It's called Broken Toy Box, and I think it's on my Bandcamp, but you might have to hunt for it. Yeah, I guess to just quickly talk about that. Yeah, so tonight, for some reason, a flat Earth warning or Wikipedia thing showed up under the video. I'll repeat and hope the algorithm is listening, but of course it won't. This is not a flat Earth channel at all, but I do say the words and I address people who believe in that topic and treat people equally. So I don't know, I guess that triggered the algorithm to post it. It's ridiculous that it did that without warning me. So no disrespect to anybody, but I don't want that under my video, and hopefully I'll be able to take it down or something, but might not. Maybe that's the way YouTube is just treating fringe channels, and what can you really do about it, right? Seems like my only option here is to just go with it, and if people ask, they know that or people who've already seen the channel know that I don't think that flat Earth is correct, but people who are new ask me, and yeah, that's all you can really do, right? So thanks for all the nice comments about the music, and the moon is just glimmering away for us tonight. Don't be no one be triggered, please. Always happy to have a conversation about it. Vicky and somebody else said, love Billy Elverton. I mean, it's so, yeah, like, he really, like, for me, is the pioneer in terms of just really understanding things in the laboratory with electric discharge and other things, of course, but that particularly. Let's see. Did I miss? Kat says that I play all those instruments. Basically, everything that I've made is mostly, not mostly me, is all me. But, of course, I use samples, or synths, rather, and I use drum samples. So everything but that is everything but the drums, basically, that I don't play live, which I could, I don't want to say I could, that's really obnoxious. I could play some drums live, but yeah, the drums, I kind of, like, back in the day I had enough space, but there's no room to play drums in a small apartment. So Rastaman note, Wingsley is Ellie Wynn's cat. Wingsley just approves all my tunes. The cat A&R person. Cat person. I haven't played the Brothers and Sisters song, so let me end with Strut per Rainbows and Butterflies. And let's see, anything else at the bottom? Mr. Sexy Potato says, what the heck, they flagged me as a flat earther somehow. Yeah, I guess it's because, like, when I started, Flat Earth was just coming up, and I chatted with, Globebusters once, I think, and I chatted with, who did I chat with? I chatted with Crow on his podcast, and I used to kind of watch some of the Globebuster stuff, I think. And then when I first started, I was actually out to use a telescope to see the horizon and show boats and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of flat Earth crossover from original TakeBackSpace days. And really, I've said this before, but as soon as I got my telescope, I realized like flat Earth could not be correct physically, even though I didn't know all this electric universe stuff that I talk about now. But it was very obvious, like, once you see Saturn and Jupiter and the moon, like, with a telescope, like, your whole perspective shifts. So this is not a flat Earth channel. Warning. All right. Playing Strut and getting the heck out of here. This is a super fun one tonight, everybody. Thanks, Space Crew. I really appreciate all the wonderful comments. And that really, even though YouTube does some weird shit, y'all are very cool in the chat room. Everybody's got different opinions, but everybody can be polite. I think that's what this whole world could do a little bit more with. If I could only find Strut on my damn computer. Here we go. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your night, and a great day tomorrow, and I'll probably try and stream around the same time. So I kind of don't set up streams early so people can sit in the chat, so just expect it sometime around 6:30 to around now, tomorrow, or the day after, if you're following this whole thing. I think it's all going to be perfectly fine, perfectly fun. All right, everybody, bonne nuit.